This Algorand news has me extremely excited about the potential opportunity that is sat in this massive blockchain right now. We already know that Algorand is a phenomenal project which is solving the blockchain trilemma, but the way the news plus this political shift that's happening in the world right now are unfolding, this is extremely big for Algorand. So guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get into today's Algorand videos. Now obviously in the past we've already talked about Algorand and why it's so important that they can solve that blockchain trilemma. Obviously we've seen an upgrade happen from Ethereum in the last 24 hours or so, which has been very successful, but Ethereum still lacks heavily in a number of different areas. It's still not that quick in comparison to other blockchains. It's still expensive in comparison to the likes of Algorand, and this is very limiting going forward and probably will be ultimately its weakness, despite the fact that I do see a heavy upside for Ethereum. But I want to look into the charts right now. This is the Ethereum chart on the 4 hour, and you're like, well, why are we looking at Ethereum? Be patient guys, we're going to look at Algorand in just a minute. But I want to see, you can see what's happening with Ethereum absolutely booming towards the upside. Very good to see. I'm quite happy to see Ethereum doing this. We have seen Bitcoin and everything else taking a good move. Well, what have we seen from Algorand right now? A whopping 1.8% move. So what is going on? Why is it not really moving very much? Well, I don't think you should be too concerned about it. Previously, we saw Algorand performing quite strongly in the last bull market, but still perhaps lacked a little in the marketing department area. And we'll come back and look at a price prediction for where I think Algorand is going to head very shortly. But it's this key piece of news which I'm very excited about. Now, right now we're seeing a very big shift happening in the world, as some huge global players have just announced that they'll be dropping the US dollar as the reserve currency. We're seeing a big shift in global development, and many countries in the East, such as China and India, which previously grew their economies on production of various different things, such as clothing, such as small equipment, small low-cost equipment, and things like that, we're now seeing a big shift. These countries are now becoming extremely technologically advanced, and that is changing the way things are doing. We're now seeing Algorand branching out into India, which is now the world's most populous country. Many companies out there in the US, the UK, are using a lot of staff in India to grow their web presence, to do all these different tasks for one of two reasons. One, there's a high focus in India on IT work, and a lot of people working in that industry are extremely skilled, but because the country is still developing, it's actually much more affordable to be using IT staff in these countries as well. But that leaves a massive window, a massive opportunity to be able to grow with that economy as it develops as well, and that's what Algorand, I think, is trying to do here. To expand its global presence, the popular blockchain protocol Algorand has set its sights on India, the world's most populous country. Algorand, which has recently been chosen as the public blockchain to power innovative digital platforms in Italy and the Marshall Islands, is now making India its new hub for technological advancement. As well as that, if it can cope with India and the volumes of people using the blockchain over there, well, it's a massive demonstration of its power if it can be used in other countries as well. And once we see that blockchain spreading out across other countries, well guys, there is no stopping it. So don't be upset that Algorand is not moving when we're seeing Solana, Ethereum, HBAR and everything moving right now. It just gives us a better opportunity to get in at these low prices before we see moves towards the upside. Now, as we zoom out on Algorand on the 1 day chart, I've drawn this green box here. It's very significant for us. Now, why I know it's significant, I want to come back to all this time before, back in December 2020, all that time ago, and you can see that what was basically happening in here is we were consolidating. Now, before we get big moves towards the upside, the banks and the big buyers need to keep the prices in this area for as long as possible to be able to fill up their bags. So what they were doing is basically taking their time to fill up bags, and what we saw that's very key to look at is what happened between the 29th of December 2020 and the 31st of December 2020. And it's this little dip into this zone here, followed by this big push, which shows me that this is the buy zone that we have been paying attention to all this time. And that is just at the top of this green zone here. And right now we're getting heavily discounted. We're still below that particular price. So we know that that's a price at which big money is prepared to buy Algorand. Even though it's all that time ago, this is still significant. This is still a very key support area for Algorand, and why I'm looking to load up in these areas. Even on a shorter term, we can see here we had a dip down. We got bought up in this area here down at 0.2117, and we can see that this is also building support here. I would anticipate that eventually we will be seeing a rally from this area up towards this recent swing high, which would be a 33% gain for Algorand, and then that's going to create for us a bit of a double bottom pattern here. that you can see building up right now. But still, zooming out further, don't worry and stress yourselves too much while making sure you get the very best prices, because it still presents us with an incredible opportunity. You can swing from here all the way up to this swing high that we saw all the way back on November the 10th, 2021. Remember, that was a year after that last pump, and that's now an 11.5x. Now, realistically, I think that Algorand is going to see bigger than that moving into the next bull market. I do think we have seen a very similar pattern here as what we saw in the Bitcoin chart, and we will be potentially pushing on even higher, at least to $3 in my opinion. If we're going to $3 from here, if we're going to $3, then you're looking at 12x. But I think that this bull run is going to be slightly different. And everyone says that every time. This time it's different. Well, guys, it is different. Every time you get a bull run, there's a reason that the market gets bigger each time. There's a reason that Bitcoin's price is pumping up bigger each time. And that's because of the network effect. Now, me myself got involved in crypto in around 2018, and that was around the bull market time then. Most people get in during the bull markets. Then what you have is you'll go and tell all your friends about the crypto you've been buying and all the money you've been making. They'll probably be too late. The next bull market comes around and then they're ready to get in. So each time they're telling more and more people, and this spreads out the information. Now as well, you've got YouTube providing way more information. You've got much more news exposure. You've got so many different ways bringing more people into the marketplace. And that's why each time you're seeing crypto getting bigger and bigger each time. And I think it's going to be true this time. And it gets exponentially bigger as that snowball rolls down the hill, and things are going to get very, very exciting. So I think realistically a $5 Algorand could be on the cards. That's a 20x from pretty much the world's best blockchain, in my opinion. Yes, I do love Solana, and I made this video about Solana the other day, so make sure you go check that out, as well as other cryptos that I've been looking at recently. And if you're looking to buy, sell, trade crypto, then there's no better place than, in my opinion, over on Fairdesk. The fees are extremely low, and you can also get up to a $35,000 bonus if you use that link down below in the description. You can also take part in copy trading, where you can benefit from following experienced traders, profiting when they profit, but do not use money that you can't afford to lose, because there is obviously still risks involved. As well as that, guys, I've been covering lots of information on Algorand and other cryptos that I've been buying right now in my Telegram, which is linked down below, and absolutely free, so make sure you join that. We're now nearly at 600 members, and the group is pumping all the time, which is really great to see. And make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye-bye.